We are live. Our first live, y'all. Let's see. We're gonna flip this around so you guys can see what I'm doing. Yep. Anthony Michael here. Texas Chainsaw Restorations. Our first live stream. And I figured today we'd do something that I've had a lot of requests for. Somebody wanted me to basically make a video on how to take the entire saw apart. I mean, this isn't really just a video. You could go back and watch it again, I guess, after the stream is over with. But today, we're going to be taking apart this early 245A. This is my, I call this my Leatherface replica, because I put the tape on it and the air filter cover and the custom bar. So, yeah, I guess first I want to go through kind of what you're going to need pretty much for any 306A 245. You're going to want a small socket, one small 9/16 socket. You're going to, how many? You're going to need a big 9/16 socket right here. You're going to need small flathead, scrunch tool. These are amazing. Get the spark plug out, flathead. You're going to need one of these, a small thing of needle nose pliers, maybe big ones. And what else? Oh, yes, also big one here to get the carve out. You're going to want, this is just what I use. I know some people use different stuff. 5/16 wrench, put that with the 5/16 socket, and then it's a size 8 wrench. I do that because you get a little bit tighter of a bite on the screws that go into the intake. I'll show you guys what I mean. But yeah, this is pretty much what you're going to need to take apart any 306A or 245. Here you go, right here. That's it, y'all. Pretty much these tools is all you're going to need. So obviously I didn't even take the bar off, like, and I work right out of my house. So you're pretty much going to see what I do with every saw that I take apart. Obviously we're not going to restore this. I'll tell you guys kind of what's going on with it, at least what I think. Recently I went to pull on it to take it out. I took it outside, tried to start it up, and it like locked up. I couldn't pull on it at all. So I took the muffler off, checked the piston, it looked good. Took the spark plug out, sprayed a bunch of WD-40 on the inside, and just kept pulling on it, and eventually I got it to move. It was good. And then out of nowhere again, it's locked up again. So I'm gonna do the process again here and let you guys watch. So first things first, we're going to take the bar off, clutch cover, bar, loosen them up. Oh yeah, also, you're going to want a drill with a flathead bit. That's going to make this go a lot faster, guys. I know there's so many people that are like, you shouldn't use a drill on these saws. It's like, who the hell says? Like, I don't know why. Because they say they're so brittle, My ass. If you're smart with it, you can do it. Also, you're going to want something to put all your parts in. If you want to organize your hardware, that's fine. But to be honest, guys, I've taken apart so many of these saws that I know literally every single piece of hardware in the entire thing. So I can mix them up, it won't matter. I'll be able to identify them later. Take the washers off. No, we'll pop off the clutch cover. Take the clutch cover over here. Take the bar plate off. there. Then you're going to pop the bar off of that tensioner, chain off, take it from around the clutch, set that off to the side, along with the bar. Take this out. So, that's where we're at now. Hopefully you guys can still see what I'm doing. I don't want you to have to sit there and watch something you can't see. Now, I would check it for spark, but look, I can't even. You see? So this could be a flywheel thing. You know, I don't know. It could be getting caught up somewhere. I don't know. You know, that's kind of what we're gonna get to today. Okay, so now you're gonna get your 5/16 small ratchet. Crack these muffler screws loose. Break them loose. Your drill. Back these out. I do this on almost every saw. I'm trying to like hold it to where you guys can see what the hell I'm doing. I forgot those are 2 long screws in there. Okay. The rings look good. See, I can't even move the clutch with my hand, so I'm kind of stumped on this one, fellas and gals, whoever's watching. I can kind of, oh, I can see what's happening. Oh boy. It's like the rings are getting caught up. I can see the rings moving. That's not, it's that bottom ring I think is getting caught up. What the hell? God. Hang on. You know what? Let's get, you know, regardless, I said I was going to make a video taking it all the way apart. So that's still what we're going to do. Let me get the WD-40 and just see if we can get it moving. I'm going to try to move this clutch with my hands. Spray some WD-40 on that piston. Move it back and forth. Bitch. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do this the long way so we can hopefully solve the problem and then, you know, accomplish what I want to accomplish with this live stream. So, to take this off, now this could be, you know, for the guys out there that want to replace the pull rope in their 245 or 306A. This is a good place to start. Back these 3 screws out. I'm going to show you guys how to take off the flywheel and everything. Now, all that stuff I was talking about, using a drill on these, there's 2 screws on this whole unit that I would tell you to be careful when you're putting a screw in. Number 1 is going to be this one right here on the fan cover, just this one. And the reason why I say that is because if you go to turn this screw in and you torque it too hard, or you tighten it in there too much, you will puncture the inside of that tank. I've seen a lot of saws like that where I've had to go inside and JB weld it. So this is really the only screw. You just want it tight enough, you know, it's holding the fan cover on. You don't need it torqued. But the other ones, whatever. Just be careful. Now, lift your fan cover right through here. Put it off to the side. Now, I've already taken this saw apart once already. So look, now you can see that something internal, because the flywheel is not getting caught on the coil, because that happens sometimes if your coil is not adjusted right. What'll happen is this will get kind of stuck on the tip of the coil here on the magnet. Let's see, we're moving it now, right? It's moving. You can move it by the flywheel. Let's see what the piston looks like. Yeah, see. Holy shit. Something's telling me. I'm hoping it's not a bearing issue, because then, you know, I'm really going to have some problems. See, I can't really turn it too well from the clutch side. Now that it's oiled up, it is moving. The piston's really good shape. I'm sure you guys can see that on camera. And there's no scoring. I'll show you guys the rings. Let's see. Hey. You know, I'm like, see, look, just a little bit of oil, and now we can pull on it. Let's get a little bit more in the exhaust port. A little more WD-40. A little more. Okay, so we got it moving again, but regardless, we're still going to take this saw apart. So, all right, so there you go. You take that off. We'll take the air filter cover off. Show you guys how to take out the carburetor, remove your air filter. To make this easier to work on, you're going to want to take this off as well. Yeah, this is a 245 manual oiler only, guys. An early 245 manual oiler only that I turned into my Leatherface replica. Now, the reason you can tell that this is a manual oiler is if you look behind the clutch here, you'll see there's no automatic oiling system right here. It's just the it's just the crankshaft sticking out. Pretty cool. Oh, there is a tiny bit of gas in the bottom of the gas tank, so paper towels, guys, roll of paper towels. I mean, it's not a lot. It's enough that I'm gonna have to use this to sop up what's in there. Okay. Now, from your little tool pile, needle nose, small needle nose pliers. I know that these cotter pins tend to break sometimes, you know, bending them back and forth, taking the choke on and off, but it's okay. You can get replacements for them at Ace Hardware for literally 30 cents, and I've got a shit ton of them. So yeah, you just pull out that little cotter pin just like that, put that in there. There's your choke. You don't even have to take the choke all the way out, just back it out some. For what we're doing, we don't have to take it all the way out. We are not painting the saw, like I said. All right, small screwdriver, flathead. You're going to back out this idling screw. We want this all the way out. I think this one's a little bent. This out. Sometimes there's a spring in there. Is this one missing a spring? Yep. This one doesn't have a spring in there. Then also too, these oiler buttons, guys, they just pull right off. Boom, just like that. Pull it off. Toss it in there. Now we're going to remove the fuel line. Just take you some pliers. that. That off. Save that. There's nothing wrong with that piece of fuel line. I will reuse that. All right, so that's about where we should be. Okay, we're taking it apart, showing you guys how to take it completely apart. Now, back to your small socket. Right here on this top intake screw. Loosen it up. Drill. Back this all the way out. Now I have seen guys like get down into the front here and like try to do these small screws. It's a really tight area to work in. You don't want to do that. You know, that's kind of a pain in the ass. It'll work, you know, but it also isn't going to take out this intake block here. You're only going to take out literally the carburetor itself. But if you take it out the way that I'm doing it, you're going to take out the entire carb and the intake block. Oh, we got some people watching, man. Let's see. Who's up? Justin, hi. Miles, what's up, man? This is a 245 manual oiler only, an early model. That's real farm yellow. So the 245 manual oiler came in both variations of paint. They had the farm yellow version, early 70s, and then in 73 or 74, they did the later green version. This one, I wanted to have a decent Leatherface replica saw, and I figured this would be the perfect saw for it. So I just, all I did was just put black tops on it, basically. Everything else is the way it is. I put a replacement decal on there with the black gaffers tape and then a set of black tops. Everything else is the exact same. So, all right, we got that one out. And you're going to get your 5/16. This one is kind of a pain in the ass because it's in a really tight little area down here. You know, see this screw here? You want to get that one out before you get to working on this one, just to give yourself that little tiny bit of extra room to work. So crack that loose. This just holds the whole carb box and gas tank handle down. This is where the big pliers come into play. Boom, pull that out. Get your 5/16 wrench. Get it snug around there if you can. And just start working it off, you know. And then once it passes this little like edge right here, then you'll be able to kind of work it out a little easier. This is just the way that I do it. I know a lot of people have an issue with this part, and I get it, because it is a tight little area to be working in. But you get it loose, small flat head, just wedge it in there, back it out. You see the gasket I put in there is kind of fraying up a little bit. But yeah, also too, I mean, I know some people out there that have these, they only have maybe one saw. I've got, you know, a good bit of them, and then plus restorations. It's my daughter's cat over here. That's Bubbles. Get down, Bubbles. Get. So I would recommend, if you have more than one of these, investing in gasket paper. And the reason I say that is because it's a whole lot cheaper than buying the kit. Because when you go ahead and buy a carb kit, it does not come with this gasket. I'll show you once we get it out. So anyway, you got these two screws out of the intake. Now you're going to want to take a flathead screwdriver, go right down in here, and you're going to want to work the reed inside of here. Like, here's your intake. You're going to get the screwdriver right there and push the reed inside the intake just like that. put the screwdriver down, separate them, and then you're going to pull the carb to you like this. You want that to, because the reed will keep getting stuck inside the block here and won't allow you to pull the carb out. So you're just going to have to play with it. And then what will happen is you'll be able to slide the jets out of the grommet right there. See, there you go. Slide it out, tilt the carb up, detach the throttle linkage, and there you go. You just pulled the carb out completely. Put that off to the side. Pull your reed out. Yep, these are all good. Sometimes you have to flip them. So you want to make sure that they're all completely flush and closed like that. So what I mean is, like, sometimes you'll take them out and there'll be like shit stuck inside of here, or these will be like corroded and they'll be like this, like pushed open. You don't want that. You know, if you have that going on, take these screws out, clean it, flip it over. That's all you got to do. Some people bend them. You don't even have to do that sometimes. You just flip them over and screw them in, because you want fuel to be able to go through here. You don't want it blowing back. So there you go. Here's your reed. This is the gasket I was telling you about. So when you buy a carb kit, any standard replacement carburetor kit for these Tillotson carbs for 245s, 306As, 361s, some of them come with this reed gasket here, but almost none of them come with the intake gasket that goes here. And this is so crucial, guys, because if you don't have this, if there's nothing here, you are 100% going to get an air leak, and that saw is not going to run right. And depending on how, you know, how much of a gap there is in there, it won't run at all. So Amazon, you get you 3 or 4 sheets of this stuff. They're about this big. Here, I'll actually show you guys. It's worth the investment if you have more than one of these saws that you're working on. So here they are right here. So basically, I just made a template of a bunch of them. So now I don't have to spend $14, you know, every single time I need one of these gaskets. I could just make them myself. I also do the rear carb gaskets as well. The rear intake gaskets. I'll show you which one that is. That's the gasket that's between the back of the carb and the intake block. So I make those two, you know, just save you money. I do that though because, you know, I work on a bunch of my own, and then I restore a bunch of saws for other people. So it's really good to have those. All right, so now that we got the carburetor out, now we're going to take off the flywheel. Or are we? Hang on. Sorry. Just make sure I'm not jumping the gun here. If there was anything I wanted to show you guys before I go ahead and do that. Okay. Actually, let's take off this rear handle bracket. Flathead screwdriver. Take the back screw out first. Socket on the bottom. Rear handle bracket is off. That gasket over there with the carburetor. All right. Let's see. Yeah, screw it. Let's take off the flywheel now. Show you guys how to do that. So, you notice I left the handlebar on for this, and there's a reason for that. Having the handlebar on when you go to take off this flywheel is going to be, you know, really helpful. I'm going to come back to the comments. Yo, what's up, Leo? No, I'm not doing this isn't a restoration. I'm kind kind of doing diagnostics on this thing. It was kind of locked up, and we just got it moving again with just a little WD-40. You can see it's still kind of hard to pull. Also doing this is the first live I've got to do. The reason for that is, for a while, YouTube was telling me I needed 100 subscribers before I could go live. I don't know if that changed or not since then, but I figured, what the hell. And I had a couple people asking me to make a video on how to take one of these completely apart. So, yeah. But yeah, we're not restoring it. We're just taking it apart and running diagnostics. So anyway, you leave the handlebar on, and the reason for that is this flywheel is going to help us get the leverage we need to crack this nut loose, okay? Also important, and this is what I use for it, one of the scrunch tools. So what I do is I take the scrunch tool and I put it on this side of the handlebar, just like that, okay? And this is where you want it. You see how there's the thick part of the flywheel here, where the magnet is? You want to get your scrunch tool or screwdriver or wrench, even whatever you're using, you want it right here, guys. You don't want to put it on one of these fins, just one of these random fins, okay? Because these absolutely will bust off. They are fragile and they break off very easy. Best way to do it, I'm telling you, is put it in a spot where it's reinforced. So you put it here, and then you take your socket. Let's turn it a little more. Put that there. I'm trying to do this, and you see how it's going up against the handlebar? Boom, it cracked loose that easy. First little go. So now it's loose. Just like that. That's why I leave the handlebar on for that. And then taking off the flywheel can be one of two ways. It could go really smoothly, or it could be a pain in the ass. It's always one or the other. So the way that I do it, handy scrunch tool again. Get that magnet off of the coil, if the coil is on it still while you're doing it. It's just going to make it easier to come off. So here's your magnet. If the magnet's on the coil, when you're going to pry it, it's not going to come straight off, obviously, because the magnet's pulling on it. But if the coil's off of there, then it doesn't matter. Right now it is, so this is how we're doing it. Get your flywheel positioned just like this. Take your scrunch tool. See this bracket down here? It's holding your recoil housing. Slide it under the flywheel like this. And I know some people, they get it under there and then they smack down. Sometimes you have to. A lot of times you don't, though, guys. If you have one of these, get it under there and you can work it off by twisting it gently. Like this. Boom. See? All I did was twist it. Don't be smacking it and all that crap. You don't want to be doing that. And I'll tell you why. This slides right off. When you sit there and you try to smack these flywheels off, because people send me their saws like that, and I see what that does is sometimes you'll break off these little nubs right here. See the starter pawl? Okay? The little nub that's stopping the starter pawl from going over the crankshaft hole. You break these off when you sit there and smack them off. And then you got to like JB weld or put something here to stop the starter pawl from going over the hole. Has to be positioned just like this so you can fit it over the crankshaft and so it can grab on the moon key. Okay, so there's that. Flywheel is now off. There's your moon key on the inside there. Sometimes they come right out nice and easy. Other times you'll have to get a flathead or your scrunch tool and you put it in the top like this, and you get like a wrench or a hammer. See, that one came right out, but sometimes what you'll have to do is you'll have to tap them out like that if they're in there nice and snug. I think I've shown this trick quite a few times in other videos, but you take this moon key here and so you don't lose it. Stick it right here on the magnet. You ain't gonna lose it now. You could put that over here, wherever. This is looking good. We're gonna take the pull start handle out, the metal tab, lift it up. There's a lot of slack in here, so I'm just cutting it just to show you guys, and I'll rewire it up to show you how to do it. Some scissors or snips, whatever you got. Cut the rope over there. Let her go. There's your pull rope handle. Now, back to your socket. You're going to take these three out. 1, 2, 3. Or actually, really quick, let's stop right here. We're going to take this top handle off now. First things first. Actually, that's the wrong piece of hardware. That's not the original screw. But anyway, take the handlebar off. This is a flathead. This is weird. Get out. Two bottom screws. Tell you, this has got to be boring content for people who don't like this shit. I mean, I'm obsessed with these saws, dude. I love them. I'd watch stuff like this. Original dipped handlebar, early dipped handlebar. All right. Handlebar is off. Now, you want to go inside here and you want to take out these two screws that are holding the cylinder cover on. It's just flathead screws. They're little, so don't lose them. On some of the later models, you'll see how, let me get this out. So, if you look down inside of here, in this area, on a lot of the later models, there's like casting right here. So you couldn't even fit your finger in here like I'm doing right now. It's a pain in the ass, especially when you're cleaning it. But the early ones like this, there's nothing here blocking it, you know. You can get your finger completely in there and get in there with the pliers if you have to put the screw back in or take it out. So yeah, that's one little weird thing I've noticed working on a lot of these saws. Alright, so now we got those two out. Only thing left to do to take off this top handle, guys, is 1, 2, 3. I'll show you. Always crack them loose with a socket first. Alright, now that's out. Boom, check this out. Lifts right off. Lift off. See? That easy. So, just to kind of let you guys know too, if I were restoring this saw, I'm not, but if I was, what I would do from here is, I'd remove this, I'd take the choke lever out, remove the fuel lines, and then this would go right into the sink. Really hot soapy water and all types of little bottle brushes and scrub brushes and stuff, and I would clean this entire thing. You scrub it completely clean, get every bit of dirt out of it. I did clean this, not restoration clean, but as you can see, I got all the clumps of dirt out of there and all that. Same thing here with the, well, here's your oiler lever. See, the crankcase is pretty clean because I've already, like I said, I've already been in it. So, yeah. Now, shit, I never even took the spark plug off. Your flathead or your pliers, pull the plug off. Take off the toggle switch. Also, during restorations, I'll take sandpaper. I'll rub these on sandpaper like this to make them shiny again. Clean them up real good. Get the overspray off of them and whatnot. And then we're going to take this screw out right here, and that's going to take this cylinder cover right off. I'll show you. Pop goes the weasel. Boom. There's your cylinder cover. See all the WD-40 I sprayed in the exhaust port. Alright. So now, here's our coil. I am not going to take the points off of here because it was a pain in the ass adjusting the points on this saw. So, but I am just going to take off the coil and the condenser here. Show you. You're going to grab right here with your small pliers or your hands sometimes, but I'm going to use pliers. And you're going to slowly work it off. I don't know if you guys can see. Boom, that's off. Now all you got to do now is take out that little screw that's holding the condenser. And then these two screws right here. Yeah, I'm not gonna take the points off, but I will show them to you guys. This is also too, this is for people who don't already know this stuff, man. So if you're sitting there watching this going, yeah, I know, then this is not a video for you. Take that washer with you as well. Alright, so there's your coil with the condenser attached. Put that over there. Now what you're left with is your crankcase and clutch. You know, there isn't much to these saws, man. They were designed to be very easy to work on, you know. Let's see. Yeah, some of the flywheels will do that, Leo. Some of them will come off pretty easy. Other ones take a little encouragement. You know, it just depends. Like I've had saws that were, you know, an absolute nightmare trying to take the flywheel off of them. Clutch cover. Peel this off. Show you guys the decal. There we go. Alright, now, gets messy. I'm going to take the recoil housing off first. So take out the screw here, crack that loose, crack that loose. Now, if you guys ever book a restoration with me, this is what will happen to your saw. Every saw that I restore, this is what happens. Alright, now that those two are out, this slides right off. Boom. There's your recoil spring and pulley in there. We'll get to that in a second. I'm going to show you guys the points now. So, here's your points. You want to make sure, I mean, it's pretty much self-explanatory the way that they're set up. This has to be touching that crankshaft, right here, and you want a little gap right there. Gasket, let's take that off. Sometimes these dry rot and crumble, but yeah, be able to do like that. You know what? I lied. I am going to take these points off because I'm going to run a little sandpaper through there. Really, really fine grit sandpaper just to clean it up a little bit. Take 2 screws out. See, I thought I was going to have to split this crankcase, but I guess not. I'm glad I don't have to. But there is something funny going on inside of there. I don't know why this crankshaft has to constantly keep getting oiled up for it to move. I don't like that at all. I don't know what the hell is going on with this saw. Let me take the spark plug out so it'll be easier for me to turn it. Oh, what the hell size spark plug is that? So it's not a standard CJ8. It should be, but it's not. I will be sure to put one in there. What is in here? DJ6J. Yeah, we're going to change spark plugs too. We're going to put a CJ8 in there because that's what's supposed to be in there. I've got a bunch. Alright, let's see how that helped with turning it. See, it's still kind of hard to turn. You know what? It's happening, guys. I'm taking the damn cylinder off. It's in there. Interesting. Obviously it became easier to move because it's got less compression without the spark plug in it, but it still shouldn't be that hard to fucking turn. Okay. Well, this is turning into something totally different. Alright. Well, I guess now I can show you guys how to take off the cylinder. I should probably take off the clutch, though, first, really quick. Show you guys how to take off the clutch. This is the way I do it. There are other ways. You have the tools to do it. Special tool. I, for one, do not. Let me see. I'm looking at the comments. Yeah, I mean, there isn't that much to take this thing apart. I mean, you've seen so far. It's not much. I mean, if I wasn't stopping and like explaining everything, this typically takes 10 minutes. Depending on the saw, it could take 10 to 20 minutes to take apart. It's not too bad. So the way that I take my clutches off, this big wrench, and then I have these 2 little screws, galvanized. Find them. One of them. See, the other one's kind of bent. What I do put them in here. Let's put the bent one up here. Just like that. And then this acts as my piston stop. It's an X-Acto knife. But this thing is like indestructible. Make sure your piston is forward first inside the crankcase. And then you're going to slide this inside the spark plug hole. Just like that. And then you're going to turn the clutch until it stops. Boom. And then take your wrench. Get to work. Don't come out of there. Don't come out of there. It came out, son of a bitch. Pushing it right out. What's happening right now? There it is. Now it grabbed. Remember, these are reverse threaded. And this is why it's good to have a tool to do this. Because you don't have to sit there and work with these goofy screws like I am. You can make one. Basically, it's just got like these two prongs, and it's basically, if it basically would be if like both of those screws were attached to this wrench, you would just stick it in here and crank it off. But this can be a pain in the ass sometimes. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't have to take this clutch off to do this, but I want to just to show you guys how to do it. Come on. Come on. Back in place. Sometimes I'll even get a hammer, which I might actually have to do here in a second. I have to get a hammer and smack the wrench. Show you what I mean. Sometimes sheer force ain't enough. Keep popping the screws out. If any of my chainsaw buddies out there have a clutch removal tool that you want to sell or make one for me, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to keep doing this just for the sake of doing it, because we technically don't have to take the clutch off to do what I'm about to do next. I mean, you're really just giving yourself like that much more room to get to these screws. So never mind the clutch. I don't want to waste any more time. This is already a long stream. Yeah, we're going to take these off. We're going to pull the cylinder off really quick, because I want to look inside of this crankcase and see what the hell's going on in there. 3/8 wrench. Bite on there. Crack them loose. Yeah, man, I genuinely don't know what the hell happened to this saw. Like, why it just keeps locking up. You know, and I have to keep spraying oil in it. It's probably just like starting to, it's probably got some corrosion in there, or maybe some rust or something, and maybe I'm not like penetrating far enough down into the crankcase with the WD-40. But if I take this off, I'll be able to get in there, and I'll be able to shine a light in there and actually look and see what the hell is in there. Because I really want to get this saw back running like it used to, because this is a great running saw, man. And it's super rare too, you know. These manual oiler onlys. Now I've seen quite a few later model manual oiler onlys, but I have not seen any early 245 manual oilers. Seen quite a few 306 manual oilers, and they're always in like really good shape. Actually, I know a guy right now who's trying to sell me one for $100. It's farm yellow and everything, but it's missing a ton of paint, and yeah, it needs some work. So I'm probably going to pass on it, at least until after the holidays. I did find another early 245A though, all original. I'll be making a video on that after Christmas. I'll probably do an unboxing video on it here on the channel, show you guys. It's pretty cool. The funny thing about it is, I remember when it got sold, it got listed on eBay, it went up for auction, and I bid on it, and you know, I set a budget for myself, and I said, okay, well, if it goes up to X amount of dollars, you know, I'll quit bidding on it. But it didn't go anywhere near what I was, you know, what my max budget was. But the person bidding with me or against me, he beat me by like 3 seconds, and he won it. But it turns out, though, the guy that actually won it, he purchased several restorations off of me, and he reached out and was like, hey, you know, I'm selling some of my stuff, and he's like, I have an original early model if you're interested. And I said, absolutely. So got something worked out with him for that. I mean, it's not in the greatest shape, but it is all original. You know, it's missing a lot of its decal, but you can see it. That's the big one for me, man. I love when these saws still have their decal on the clutch cover side. Alright, so we got that final nut off here, bottom of the cylinder. Try to lift these washers off so we don't lose them. I do have a shit ton of extra hardware for these saws, but I don't feel like losing any. Alright, so now that we got that loose, the cylinder should come right off. Slide it straight up. Boom. Wow, this cylinder is in immaculate shape in there. Check that out, y'all. Super clean in there. Nice. So do you use ethanol? Yeah, man. So I know a lot of people don't have access to it. Some gas stations down here in the South have it. So yeah, when I can, absolutely, I go over to that gas station and get it. There's some carbon all over the tip of this piston. Let's see what's up with the rings, because I feel like that's what's fucking happening. I feel like the rings are... That could be the problem. See, look, guys. Me trying to pull this fucking... Excuse my language. Yeah, it's the crankshaft in there. It needs oiling, I guess. I don't see much rust or corrosion. But yeah, I mean, you can definitely see, and the piston's in great shape too. I mean, there is no scoring on it whatsoever. I got a plastic scrape. I'm gonna get my scraper and I'm gonna clean that off. Try to knock some of that carbon off of there. Or better yet, here you go. You guys will like this. This is a Scrub Daddy, man, in the shape of Texas. My girlfriend got this for me while she was down there. Let's take some of this, get some of this carbon off. Now, if we were doing a rebuild on this, hang on. So if we were doing a rebuild on this right now, obviously we'd be taking the piston off. We would take the pin out here, and we'd take the piston arm out and then pop the piston off, and you know, either put a new piston on and a new cylinder, or a new whatever, you know. And then if we had to go any further, which hopefully I don't have to, it doesn't look like. Let's see with the light. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Shit. I can see some. Yeah, I see a little bit of corrosion around where the bearings are. That's probably what the hell the problem is. A little carb cleaner. Also, guys, you want to be careful when you're handling the piston like this, because a lot of times the piston will rub up against these studs and you'll score the piston up. So just be careful. I mean, I've done this a million times, so I'm, you know, pretty cautious. All right, now that we can get in there, I'm going to spray this WD-40 all over the bearings and the crankshaft. And we're going to try to move it back and forth. Let's give it a little wiggle. Come on, baby. Yeah. Just want to kind of move it back and forth, that oil. Yeah, you don't want this to be that hard to turn, you know? It shouldn't be. It should be relatively easy to turn this clutch around with your hands. Get it up out here for a sec. A little more oil. The smoother this moves, the better. Let's turn it the other way. See, it's struggling this way. But I mean, this is nothing, guys. I had a saw one time. I did a restoration for a guy right before Halloween. And I don't do this all the time, but he offered as partial payment towards the restoration, he had a 245A part saw. that he threw in as partial payment. And, you know, I said, yeah, sure, you know, because it had all the 245 parts on it. It had the top covers, handlebar, a muffler. You know, it was in one piece except for the rear handle. Like, this piece was busted completely off of it, and the saw was completely locked up. And when I took it apart like this, I took the piston off, or the cylinder off. I looked inside, and I mean, it was just corroded to the max. So basically what I did, I took the piston off, and then there's a piece of air. Just kept spraying it with WD-40. I put this on a towel. Get down. And then I just kept banging it. I would bang it in and then pull it up with pliers and just kept working the crankshaft back and forth until it started to move freely. And yeah, it turns out right after I got the crankshaft moving again with no problems, the coil that was in it had spark. So I, you know, put it all back together and cleaned it up, and it ran. It was a good running saw too, and I actually sold it. I sold it in the TCM groups, I believe, one of the TCM groups. I didn't paint it, so I just didn't have time. You know, I had a couple restorations to do before Halloween. But yeah, it's starting to move a little easier. The bearings just need to be greased up. I think that's the issue. And I tried before, once already with this saw, where I took the carb out and I just sprayed a bunch of oil down in the intake. I mean, that kind of reached certain places, but not as well as if you do what I just did and take the cylinder off and actually put the oil can in the fucking bearings, you know, all in here. That's what we want. Oop. Oh, I just spilled all that oil. It was in the crankcase. That's gross. Let's clean that up. Also, let me just leave that there for a sec. I don't know if you guys are tired of watching me do this or not, but we'll keep going. Come on, baby. It's getting easier and easier to turn as I go. I mean, if it was that bad, like if it was really bad and I thought that I had to split the crankcase, I probably would. But I genuinely don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Because as you can see, it is moving. It's taking a lot to turn it, and that's the issue. That's what I don't like. Make this go faster. I just grab the fucking clutch with pliers. Turn it like that. Yikes. Let me make sure that there's no, like, spray some carb cleaner in there, knock out whatever crap might be in there. Then hit it with some fresh oil. Like I said, you guys, worst case scenario, I split the crankcase and go from there. Place the bearings, crank seals and shit, but I really don't want this stream to go that far. I really don't. I want this to kind of be it right here. Shouldn't take more than what we're doing right now. No, it's not. That's because I'm stuck. Great. You know what? I'm getting nervous. I feel like I'm gonna fuck this piston up, so I'm gonna take it off. There's probably people watching me right now going, "You should have did that forever ago." And you know what? I'm gonna agree with you. But I didn't think that I'd still be sitting here playing with this. Can't really see in there. Trying to get a bite on this. Now I've used replacement pistons from Little Red Barn. Shout out Little Red Barn. They've supplied me with a ton of stuff for these saws. I have used their pistons, and you know, if I have to, I'll continue to. The one thing I will say about them though is they are very easy to score up, guys. Very easy to score up. These ones, right, those are too big. Get tweezers. And then what I'll probably do after I get this piston out is just keep working. I'll just keep working the crankshaft back and forth. But I don't know, this is going to take me a few more minutes, I think, so I may just do an update after this stream is over with. Let's see, who else is there? Oh, we still got a few people watching. Couple likes. Thank you guys for watching, tuning in. I've been going for a little more than an hour. Yeah, man. This is this is how I do. Sometimes it's easier than others, guys. I'll tell you that much. These little rings can be a pain in the ass. I like the ones that have the little nubs on the end, because then you can literally just stick the pliers in there and just grab it and pull it out. But this, it's like, it's got those little tiny holes on the ends, you know what I'm talking about? And everything I have is too big to fit in the holes to pinch it out. So I'm kind of just wrestling with it. I got it out of the track. Now I just got to get the ring out. And it's not sitting in the groove anymore. It's just stuck in there. There's my... I do have replacement rings if this breaks. Not gonna be that bad. I'd rather not, you know. I'd like to keep the original ones if I can. Alright, there's one. Put that off to the side. Now we're gonna flip this over. And tap out the piston arm. Get out. Come on. I can see it. I know I'm on it. Alright, fuck it. Alright, she's coming. How much further? Not much further. Once it comes out a little bit, we can just yank it out. A little more. See, it's always a pain in the ass just bang it the rest of the way out, guys. See, there she is. And she's not coming out quietly. Come on, baby, don't you want to be fixed? Don't you want to run again? Don't you want to run again? Almost there. If we can get it to just pass the crank arm, I can just slide it out. It don't even have to come all the way out, guys. And yeah, sometimes it's just as hard to get them back in. It just depends. But you gotta like this stuff, man. Or else this isn't fun. If you don't absolutely love these saws, then yeah, this wouldn't be fun. But yeah, look, check out how good a shape the pistons are. It's got carbon all over it, but there's no scoring on it. I mean, that's why I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is wrong with it. Daddy is doing a stream on my YouTube channel. I can give you guys a better look inside the crankcase. Let's see what's going on. Oh, here's the gasket. The gasket's in good shape. In one piece. Cylinder gasket. Yeah, man. I mean, I can't really see still the bearings. Oh, yeah, I can. So, unfortunately, I think it is as I feared, guys. I think it's the bearings.
Can I have an ice cream?
Sure, baby. Son of a bitch. It's the bearings. Don't listen to my foul mouth. That really sucks. See, when I put that flathead in there, I like knocked one of the bearings. That's crazy. Oh. The good news is I have a good donor saw with good bearings that I could rob from. But I may have to do a little homework though, because yeah, this is a manual oiler, and I mean, as you guys can see, there's a difference in the crankcase or the crankshaft size. You see, it's like thicker. So yeah, I don't even know if that would be possible. But yeah, that's what it is, man. It's the bearings. So, wow, that's a shame. So I guess it turns out I am going to have to split this crankcase after all. Didn't want it. I did not want it to go that far, guys, but it looks like that's the way it's going to be if I want this sucker to run again. I want it to run right. As you can see, with all that lubrication that I gave it, for it to still be struggling like that, I mean, that's not good. You can see it's like getting caught. Oh. Did we knock the stuck bearing loose? Oh, I think we did. How about that shit? The bearing has been knocked loose. Make sure they're all moving. Let me tell you, this shit right here, WD-40, has gotten me out of so much mess. Wow, how about that? Look at that, guys. This is what I was talking about. Remember how hard it was for me to move this? I'm like, "Urgh." Look at that. I knocked one of those bearings loose in there, get it from being stuck. Just give it a little more pulling around on it, playing with it back and forth. And look at that. She's moving again. Moving free and easy. Both ways. So I'll tell you what, while we got it exposed, here I am thinking I was going to have to replace the bearings. Thank God. See, it works out like that sometimes, guys. Look. That's what you want. But anyway, while we have it like this, I'm going to spray it one more time. Spray the bearings one more time. Oil them up. Both ways. And I got news for you guys. This sucker is going to run now. I promise you. See, also, too, I would not have been able to get that done with this damn piston on there. So, there we go. Let's wipe it off. Yeah. It's like that, man. There hasn't been a saw yet that I haven't been able to fix, no matter what it was. But there are some saws that are not worth fixing. Like if I had like a later model 306A and I was having this issue. If it was a later model 306A, you better believe I would not have even gone this far. I wouldn't have. I would have sold it, and I would have sold it as a non-runner. But this definitely worth it. Let's dump some of that oil out of it. Yeah, gross. Yeah, man. I guess just over time, the bearings kind of just dried out. But I'm looking in there. I can see it moving now. I can see them all moving. They're all rolling nice and easy in there. Yeah, that's what we want. What a relief. What a relief. Now, here comes the fun part of trying to put all this shit back together. I've got a couple tricks that maybe I'll be able to show you guys. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. First, though, I am going to put down a towel or a cushion here. Something to make it a little less noisy and less harsh. Put a towel down. Okay. Make sure I straighten this ring back out that I bent. Don't want to snap this now because we want to reuse this. So I'll need those. Squeeze it. Yeah, there we go. Also, if you guys do this, if you guys rebuild your saws and you're putting a piston on, always make sure, okay, this side is facing the exhaust port, so the clutch side. That's how you want it, okay? You're not going to be able to see it on here because of how much carbon, but there's usually a little hole right here to show you where the ends of the rings should sit. You see that thing right there? It stops the rings. That side is always recoil side. You don't want the ends of the rings exposed on this side because that will lock your saw up or blow it up. So always make sure that it's facing that way. Always, always. That is so crucial. All right. Now, crank arm. We're going to tap this piston arm back in. And hopefully, hopefully it goes smoother than it went trying to take it the hell out. That was a nightmare, huh? Right, let's tap it in a little more before we get going. I don't want to tap it all the way in or too far like I just did. Because then you can't fit this through there. But that's alright. Man, the main problem has been solved, and I am so happy about that right now because I was really disappointed that this saw locked up on me. I was really disappointed because I love this thing. Even though I didn't keep it as a 245 manual oiler, still, And I do my best to make sure that all my saws run, man. I do. If they don't, I try to make sure they do. Hopefully that oil that's in there will help this piston arm move pretty good. Okay, good. Let's through the crank arm. Let's tap it the rest of the way. Tap it home. Tap it the rest of the way home. And make sure, as a matter of fact, I'm going to show you guys a trick too to stop these threads from scratching up your piston. Right here. Little gaffer's tape. Now I use this gaffer's tape for Leatherface replicas because, I put them on the clutch covers over the decals, but yeah, look, good little trick. Another good use for gaffer's tape. I should have did this earlier, but I had to take that off anyway because it was in the damn way. Put some gaffer's tape around the studs, just like that, so that way the piston's not getting fucking mangled by all the smacking and banging and all. People say, oh, you're going to mess up the crankshaft. No, you're not. No, you're not. Sitting there banging on it. These things are they're almost indestructible. Just watch where you're hitting. That's all. And it'll be fine. Alright, now that we're there, I am not going to be banging on the outer part of that piston directly. I am going to try to do it with something else. Now we're going to do it. Let's move this tape and scissors and shit. Even if it takes a while, guys, just be patient. It's worth it. It's worth it. Alright, see? Piston arm is right where it needs to be. Remember, we didn't take the ring out on this side. So we didn't need to. Just here. Now we're going to put this little ring back in. Get this side. And these can be a pain in the ass to get in because sometimes they'll just like pop and disappear on you. Like they'll just fly out and you're like, where the hell did that go? And like I said, these ones are a little different, so they're not as easy to put in as the other ones. because there isn't really anything for you to grab onto with the pliers. You kind of gotta just get them in like that, play with it. But there, you want to make sure that that's inside, just like that, inside the track, in the little grooves, and we should be smooth sailing now, folks. All right, pull the gaffer's tape off. Piston is on there now, and look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Now, when we put this cylinder back on, first of all, don't forget this. Always make sure you're putting your gasket back on, because if not, fucking gas is just going to spill everywhere. I'll admit it to you guys, I have done that before during a rebuild. I rebuilt a saw for somebody one time, and I forgot to put the new gasket on here, and I just put the cylinder on and I tightened it down and everything, and I got done, so I took it outside to test run it, filled it up, fired up, and it's just gas pouring all out the bottom. What the hell is going on? I looked, and I forgot to put the gasket back on. So now I might have to do this, show you guys this little trick here. Check this out. See how the rings are? I don't have a piston kit. Now, if you have a piston kit, you don't have to do it like I'm about to do it, like a barbarian. Zip ties are your best friend if you don't have a piston kit. I'm going to show you what I mean. This is sort of the redneck way to do this. Definitely not the right way to do it. It's the redneck way. Now here's a bag of a whole bunch of like pistons and shit and rings. And... Look, here's this here really quick. I'll show you guys. This is how you can tell. This is a 306A piston. That's how you can tell this is a 245. You can see that the bore is a lot bigger. Like, look at that. See, that's how you can tell this is a 306A piston. This is a 245. All right. Some zip ties. What we're gonna need. And our trusty WD-40. Now sometimes this may take a couple tries, you know. You may have to cut them off and do it again and over again. But it is what it is. Unless you got a piston kit, this is what you got to do. And yeah, I know it's insane that as many of these friggin' saws that I've worked on and I don't have a piston kit still, I know that's insane. Yeah, I should be embarrassed, but you know what? I'm not. Because this works. If you can save the money, save the money. Make sure your rings are lined up. The ends are lined up right there. That's where you want them. Get your wire tie started. Do the bottom one first. Get a click or two on there. Make sure it's covering one ring at a time. Unless you got a big wire tie or a big zip tie, then you can just put one. I ran out of big ones. I had like the thick green ones. They're like that thick. That's so much better to use. But I don't have any, so I ran out. But I do have these ones, so we're going to use these. Like that. Yeah, once we get through this part, guys, the rest should be easy peasy. and I'll show you guys how to throw everything back together, and I'll just do it pretty quick. All right, now here's the challenging part. Your cylinder, grease that up. Okay. You're gonna slowly work the cylinder over the piston. You don't want to twist it too much. Don't twist it too much because you'll snap the rings, and I have done that more times than I care to mention. Now, if I do, well, I'm not. I got lucky right there. But sometimes what'll happen is you'll break them rings, man, and then you got to buy new rings. I have new rings, and I don't want to use them on this because I have them planned for another saw, and I only have one more set after that. So, good that we didn't just break the fucking rings on this. Alright, so now you're wondering, well, how do you get the wire ties off? I'm going to show you. You just slide the piston inside the cylinder, and look, the wire ties fall down. Come on. Let me get the needle nose here for a second. There. And then you get your snips or your scissors, whatever you got, and you just snip the wire ties off just like that. You see? I mean, is it a little more complicated than having a piston kit? Yeah, sure. But does it work? Hell yeah, it works. As you can see. Boom. Cylinder, piston are back on. Now, we throw the washers. The washers back on the studs. I'll keep dropping that one, so I'll move on. Lock washers, and the nut. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that I won't buy a piston kit, because I probably will. It comes with the stop and the, you know, all the shit you need, but if you can save money and do it another way, do it. See, I'm just putting the lock washers back on over the threads down here. That's all I'm doing. And out of all of them, this one's the hardest one to get to. You'll see in a second. Alright, got them all back on. Put the nuts on. Get them finger tight. Do not leave them finger tight. We're just doing that to get started. That's all. Alright, did we get the top two? Alright, we sure did. Now, where's our 3/8? Yep. Now we're just going to tighten it back on. Sometimes this takes a minute. I'm sure maybe like 1 or 2 people have hung out this far. If you did, cool, thank you. If you didn't, my feelings ain't hurt. You know, I'm not trying to make content for everybody, because this isn't for everybody. And I didn't start this channel thinking like, oh, this is gonna be like this super successful channel with like 1 million subscribers. Like, no, it'll never be that. It was never intended to be that. I started this channel because I'm basically making content that I would like to watch. You know, that's really what it is. Other than this channel, The only other channel that I would watch that I'd get this something similar was Classic Poland. Mike Spencer, it's a friend of mine, great guy, man, and he's my biggest inspiration when it comes to restoring these saws, and I've learned so much from him. But yeah, his channel was pretty much the only channel that was doing this kind of stuff. But his is not really, actually not at all. His stuff is not TCM related at all. It just so happens that he does a lot of 245A restorations, and a lot of people who were getting their buy-in 245s were sending them to him to have restored. But he's a big Poland guy, you know. He's not really a TCM guy, which is totally fine. But I wanted to have best of both worlds for this channel, you know, and only deal with a specific model, like 245s and the occasional 306A. Well, I'm happy we got that done, man. I'm so happy. So that's what it was, folks. It was a stuck bearing. One of the bearings was stuck. Should make sense why the first time I squirt oil down in the exhaust port and the spark plug hole and everything, and thought, oh, well, I got it moving again. I think that was just luck. Because then it locked up again, and I'm like, well, what the hell? Well, that was the problem. And you guys watched it live. You saw it get fixed live. I could see the one bearing was just like not rolling, and I took that little flathead screwdriver and just jammed it in there and got it unstuck. And I guess once the oil got to it, it was good to go. That was best case scenario right there, and I did not have to split the crankcase. And then once we got some two-stroke oil, I'll be sure to run, I'm definitely going to run an oil-rich mixture in this saw when I go to fire it up, you know, so that way we can keep the oil. I mean, look at that, guys. Remember earlier, I could hardly move this fucking clutch with my hands. Now it's like I can move it with one finger both ways. That's what you want. When, you know, of course, when everything's off like this, that's what you want. You want to be able to move it like that. So, yeah. All right. Now the cylinder and piston's back on. We can put this saw back together. I told you I was going to put the proper spark plug in there. And here I have, for those of you who don't know, the CJ8. This is a brand new spark plug right here. This is what we want in there. I don't know what the hell was in there. This thing. This was I mean, it worked. It sparked, but it doesn't fit the scrunch tool. So we're not going to put it back in there. And this is brand new. So CJ8 spark plug. You know, I'm so paranoid. I'm going to put a little bit more oil in there. Oh, God. Yeah. I was thinking that was going to turn into something totally different. That we were going to have to split the damn crankcase. And I was not going to be happy about it, I'll tell you that. All right. Let's go here now. Actually, yeah, that's right. I forgot. I put this off to the side forever ago and said that we were going to do this. All right. Quick tip. When you're taking one of these saws apart and you take the recoil housing off and you're replacing the rope, or you're taking it apart probably for the first time it's ever been taken apart, these little screws right here that hold this plate down, these are absolutely notorious for stripping them out. These strip out so easy it's not even funny. And if you strip them out and it's stuck, you're done. Like, it's going to be impossible to, you're going to have to break it off, and then you're going to have to drill it out and rethread it, and you don't want to go through all that, trust me. So I'm going to tell you the best thing to do. We're going to pretend, let's pretend right now that this whole thing hasn't been taken off of this saw since the saw was manufactured, okay? So that's going to mean that there's all types of dirt and sawdust and oil and gunk just caked on here. So you're going to clean all that off however you got to do it, scrub it, whatever. Then you're going to take some carb cleaner. You're going to spray it on the screws, right? Then you're going to hit it with a little bit of WD-40, squirt, squirt, squirt. Then you're going to get your drill, okay? Now this part's super important. Do not put it in the head and baby it out, okay? When you get it in there, press this thing down firm. Do not let it move. Get this in there firm, and then you just torque it. That's the only way to do it. Or else, I promise you, you will strip these damn screws. Put it in there like this, torque it. This has been out before, because like I said, so I could take it out with a screwdriver, but when it's been taken apart for the first time, that's the type of shit that happens, and you'll hear it just like break loose for the first time, you know, in forever. See, I'm so used to doing that, I still do that. Just back it out. Take the plate off. Screws over here. Pull the spool out. Look, see, there's still some fresh oil in there from the last time I took it apart. Here's your spool. Oh yeah, this disc, guys. I know people like they'll forget to put. Oh, it's not a big deal. These serve a purpose, you know. This is gonna keep the proper distance between here and your spring, and it's also going to stop debris and stuff from getting in the spring, and it keeps lubrication on it as well. That's what you want. So do not throw these away unless they're like cracked and overlapping itself and causing a problem. Then replace it, but don't throw it out. All right, so we'll set this off to the side for now because we're going to reattach the rope. This is how you do it. Oh, actually, fuck. If you have a points and condenser saw, like I do here, before you even put the recoil housing back on, I almost forgot, you have to put the points back in. Now, if you have a solid state saw, doesn't matter. You can just put the recoil housing, just boom, throw that on, throw the flywheel on, put the coil on, you're done. But because this is a point saw, like all the earlies were, you gotta put your points in. So you're gonna wanna, you see how there's like this is honed out, there's a spot for it. They made it pretty easy. It's kind of hard to mess this up, but somehow it still happens from time to time. Now, one of these little screws has a washer. That one's always going to go on the bottom. That's your bottom screw for the points. Always. No matter what. Hold it with your thumb. You want that to be pressed up against the crankshaft. Not so hard that this is wide open. You don't want the points to be wide open like that. That's not what you want. I'll show you. It will adjust itself a lot of the times if you line it up properly and you make sure that's making contact with the crankshaft. And we'll test it for spark too. That's how we can test it. If it sparks, then we know that the points are adjusted properly. If not, yes, it's a pain in the ass because you got to take the recoil housing off and on to sit there and try, but if you want it to run, this is what you got to do. All right, so now that's on. We're gonna say that that's good, and we're gonna set up like it's good. Throw your gasket back on. Line that up. All right, now, before you go ahead and put the housing in, trust me, you're going to want to do this first. Get your pull rope through here first, because look, you got all this room, you know, to try to get that rope through here. If you put that housing on here, you're going to be trying to fight, and it's a pain in the butt. So just do this first. Get your rope up in there. Actually, this is all frayed up because I cut it, so let me burn it a little bit. Flatten it out. See, voila. Now that's through. Put that off to the side for a sec, just like this. Now, take your recoil housing. Gently put it over the crankshaft like that. Rest it in place. Then we'll start with one screw on the bottom to hold it in place. You only want one in there until you get it checked for spark and you know that it's... You only put one in there until you know that the points are in the place that you need them to be. Because like I said, there might be a chance we have to take this off again. Alright, now remember, recoil disc. Put it in there. your spool. Okay. Make sure it's going the right direction and it's wrapped the right direction. Gently rest it inside of here. Turn it slowly until it falls inside the recoil housing. Actually, we'll have to play with that, but real quick before we do, let's reattach the handle. We're going to take out the old knot that we cut off. Spread that open a little bit with some pliers. Pull it out. Get rid of that. There's our handle. Handle first. Metal second. Make you a nice fat knot. I double them up. Also take pliers and pull them tight. I'll show you. Just like this. Give it another one for good measure. So that way we know damn well that ain't gonna pull out. That doesn't sound right. You won't be able to pull the rope out. Let me be more specific. Tighten it. Guys, sometimes I'll even put some super glue in the knot as well, or a nail. And then other times, I'll just do this. I'll take heat to it, a lighter, all around the knot, get it nice and hot. Don't get it so hot that it gets brittle and breaks. Just enough to melt it, and then press it like that. Some pliers. Just like that. And that should do the trick. Back inside the metal. Make sure that's nice and snug. See how we bent it a little bit, close it. That also helps. Then pull your rope up through the handle. Done. See that? That ain't coming out. Now, back to the spool. sometimes you got to play with it because you need the spring. You need the spool to grab that edge of the spring. So just kind of pull it out slowly. Oh, there you go. Now we're going to make sure it's grabbing. Boom. Now we know it's good. This is how you tighten up your rope. If you guys got slack hanging out of your fan cover or something, you know, that happens a lot of the times. Oh, it's been a while since I've checked the comments. Let's go. Yes, I will make a video of this saw running. Hopefully sooner than later. Oh, we got some gaffer's tape stuck on the front. Let's get that off. Yep. My buddy Dean's in here. What's up, Dean? I don't know if you're still in here or not. I haven't really been checking the comments. I've been working on this thing. But for those of you who are just tuning in, this is a saw that figured I'd kill two birds with one stone for my first live stream. I've had a lot of people ask for me to make a video on how to take one completely apart. And I also wanted to fix this saw because it was locked up. And it turns out, for those of you just tuning in, turns out it was one of the bearings was stuck. Had a bad bearing, so thought I was going to have to replace the whole thing. But we knocked it loose with one of these, a little flathead screwdriver, and a whole bunch of this. And it worked. We got it back. Alright, anyway. Now, to tighten this up. Tighten up the rope. Pull some slack out through here. Line that little notch up right there with where the pull rope comes through. Pull this up, and you're going to go counterclockwise a few times. Alright. Untwist the rope. Pull the slack out. Most of the time it'll do it on its own if you just encourage it a little bit. But it seems like this one wants to be kind of difficult. So pull that through and then slowly let it come back. Now, I like my recoils to be snappy, so pull it out a little more. And I'll wind it up like 2 or 3 more times. See how it feels. 1, 2, 3. Let's get a third in there. 3. Yep. And that should do it. That should make that recoil nice and snappy. But there's a twist in the rope that's stopping it. Hang on. Alright. Yeah. See, that's what we want. Now, we're going to take this cover back on. And our favorite little screws. But hell yeah, I'm going to make a video on this thing running, especially after all this crap we had to go through. But I will tell you, though, it could have went a lot worse. Could have been a lot worse, guys. See, I'm not torquing these down either. I'm just getting them tight. Just want them tight. That's it. Alright. Got that on. I think the points are adjusted good, so let's go ahead and put the other screw in. also what I'll do a lot of times is the reverse. Like when we took this apart, if you remember, I cracked these loose and then take them out with the drill. I'll do the same thing in reverse. Put them in with the drill and tighten them. Boom. Same thing in reverse. That's the way to do it. Alright, now, flywheel. See, look, our flywheel still got the moon key on it, hasn't gone anywhere. This is also important too, if you have the coil on there. We don't, so it doesn't matter. But a lot of times what will happen is if you have the coil on, when you go to put the flywheel on, just like when you take it off, you don't want the magnet touching the flywheel. Get the magnet away from it because it's going to hinder you putting it back on. Trust me. So, let's put the moon key inside the little slot. Sometimes you got to tap it in, sometimes it just goes right in, just like that. Now take your flywheel, line up that little groove with the moon key. Hopefully you guys can still see what I'm doing. That, hold it level as best you can. Pull the rope, push this down at the same time until the pawls engage. Boom. See how the pawls engaged around the crankshaft and it dropped down? That's what you want. The washer on, lock washer, nut. Tighten it on there. Obviously it doesn't have to be extremely tight, but you do want it tight, guys, because if the flywheel comes loose, you are going to have problems. It's going to wallow out that hole that's on the crankshaft where the moon key goes, and then you're going to have a whole new problem that you do not want to be dealing with. Trust me. Alright, now that's back on, so now we can put the coil back on. Now because I did not detach the condenser, that's usually the first thing I'll put on. Let's make sure the magnet's out of the way. That. This is a pain right here, trying to get the condenser screwed back in sometimes. Especially if you're doing it the way that I'm doing it with the condenser still attached to the coil. Either way, it's still kind of awkward little position to be in. Tighten the condenser down. And they make it easy for you. There's two little things right here to kind of show you where to line it up. Now, rest the coil here. Put the points and toggle switch wire back on the coil. Before I forget, there's a little sleeve right here for that long screw that goes through the coil in the back. You want that to push that back in here. Show you guys what I'm doing. Honestly, should have put this over the condenser wire. Let me see if I can finagle it up through here. Yeah, there we go. Alright, put this in here. This little sleeve. Like that. Alright. Now we're going to get the coil back on. That washer on your long screw here. Through here. Don't tighten it all the way yet. Just get it started. Get it, all the way down enough to where you can still adjust the coil. See, because you want to be able to get it. It has to be in the right position up against the flywheel. You don't want it directly on it because it's not going to turn. It has to be about the width of a credit card. The width of a credit card away from the flywheel is what you want. So let this be a lesson to any of you guys out there who are passing up, a decent saw because it's locked up. A locked up saw can be fixed, as you can see. I mean, that's how people always say, how the hell do you get as many 245s as you do? And it's because I don't really turn down any of them. The only time I do is if I don't have the money. To be honest with you, that's the only time I turn down a 245. And a lot of times what will happen is I'll get them in rough condition. Like, somebody will say, this one's locked up, or this one don't have spark, or this or that. And I say, okay, well, give me a good price on it. I get a good price on it, and then I turn around and restore it, make it like a brand new saw, and then sell it. That's it's the nature of the beast. All right. Earlier it was locked up, wouldn't move. What do we got now? Oh yeah, and it's got compression. Good compression. Now, if I took the spark plug out, it'd be different, but. It ain't locked up no more, y'all. We did it. I should test it for spark real quick. We got another spark plug here. I'll throw it in there. Into the boot wire. Show you guys how to test for spark. Now, you can do this on any saw, right? What you do, don't mind the second spark plug. I do this because it gives you a little bit better of a reading. But a lot of times what you do is you just take the spark plug out, put it inside the boot like this, and then you turn your toggle switch on, and you hold this up against the cylinder fins, and you pull on it, and if you see spark, you're good to go. So I'm just going to test. I'm only doing I know that this coil is good and the points are good. I'm only doing this just to make sure that I adjusted the points properly. That is all. It is kind of hard to do by yourself like this. So I'm going to try to get this spark plug in between the fins right here like that. There we go. And unfortunately, I don't see spark. So that is not because the coil is bad, it's because I did not adjust the points properly. So I'll tell you what, so rather than having you guys sit here and any longer and watch me take this off again and all that, I'm going to call this live stream complete. And I will finish this on my own here, and I will make a YouTube short when I get it back together just to show that it's done, and then I'll make another video of it running as soon as I get the opportunity to. So with that, I want to say thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in to Texas Chainsaw Restorations. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's a lot of fun.